The story of the Jefferson nickel 1967 begins during a transformative period in United States coinage, when the nation was still adjusting to significant changes in metallic composition minting policies and public demand for circulating coins. The year 1967 falls right in the middle of a time known as the clad coinage era, which started in 1965 when silver was removed from most U.S. coins and new alloys were introduced to stabilize coin production. This period also carried a special set of regulations affecting mint marks' annual coinage reports and mint processes, which shaped the characteristics of every coin produced, including the 1967 Jefferson nickel. To fully understand the significance of the 1967 nickel, one must first explore the historical environment that shaped its creation from design to production and finally to its role in circulation. The Jefferson nickel series itself began in 1938, replacing the long-running Buffalo nickel. The winning design came from artist Felix Schlag, whose portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and the depiction of Monticello on the reverse became iconic American imagery. For decades, the design remained mostly consistent, and by the time 1967 arrived, the Jefferson nickel was already a familiar and widely used coin across the United States. But although the design stayed largely the same, the regulations and minting conditions of the 1960s created a unique backdrop for coins in these years, making 1967 nickels historically interesting, especially for collectors who study production numbers and minting variations. During the mid-1960s, the United States Mint faced a nationwide coin shortage triggered by rapid economic growth and silver hoarding among the public. People feared rising metal prices and began removing silver coins from circulation, which caused the mint to increase production volumes and switch to cheaper metal alloys. As part of the Coinage Act of 1965, the Mint temporarily removed mint marks from all circulating coins. This means that the 1967 Jefferson nickel carries no mint mark, regardless of whether it was actually produced in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, because identifying mint locations was prohibited during those years. This absence of mint marks makes the 1965 through 1967 nickels a distinctive group within the series, and it challenges collectors because there is no way to determine the exact production facility for any specific coin. The 1967 nickel was minted using the standard composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, which had been in use for the series since its start in 1938. This alloy proved durable and resistant to wear, which contributed to the long life of Jefferson nickels in circulation. The coin weighs 5 grams and measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter with a smooth, plain edge. These specifications remained unchanged through 1967, giving the coin a consistent image and feel even during a time of transition within the mint. The familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse continued to portray him facing left with the inscription, "In God We Trust," to the left, "Liberty" to the right, and the year 1967 displayed prominently. On the reverse, Monticello remains central with the inscriptions E Pluribus Unum Monticello 5 cents and United States of America placed around the building, while millions of Jefferson nickels were produced in 1967. The exact number is often grouped with total national production rather than mint-specific totals because the absence of mint marks blurred distinctions between facilities. However, historical records show that overall nickel production in this year was extremely high as the mint worked to meet circulation demands and to stabilize the coin supply after the earlier shortage. As a result, most 1967 nickels are common in circulated condition, but higher-grade examples, especially those preserved in exceptional uncirculated condition, can still attract collector interest. Coins with strong strikes, bright, lustrous surfaces, or clean fields may receive premium attention from grading professionals and registry collectors. Another important historical element of the 1967 Jefferson nickel relates to the mint's efforts to experiment with special strike finishes. From 1965 to 1967, the Mint replaced the traditional proof set program with something called special mint sets, These sets featured coins that were struck with higher quality than regular circulation strikes, though they did not reach the level of finish found in true proof coins. For 1967, the special mint set nickel features sharper details, smoother surfaces, and a more refined strike. These coins were produced at the San Francisco Mint, though still without mint marks. The 1967 SMS nickel continues to be of interest to collectors who seek well-preserved examples from this experimental period in mint history. In the broader context of American numismatics, the 1967 Jefferson nickel also reflects the changing philosophy of the U.S. Mint regarding coin production and public access to collector products. Because of the coin shortage, the Mint restricted or suspended the sale of proof sets, mint sets, and commemorative items, believing that such programs were distracting from the goal of producing enough coins for everyday commerce. Only when production stabilized did the Mint gradually reintroduce collector-targeted items. This political and economic environment adds depth to the story of every coin minted during these transitional years, including the Jefferson nickel. For collectors studying errors and varieties, the 1967 Jefferson nickel provides an intriguing field because the high-speed minting processes of the 1960s sometimes produced minor imperfections. While there are no major cataloged varieties for this date, some 1967 nickels show die cracks. Die breaks off center strikes and minor misalignments that collectors find enjoyable to search for. These small minting quirks offer insight into the pressures the mint faced while producing enormous quantities of coins during the post-shortage recovery period. Even circulated pieces bearing these small anomalies can be interesting historical artifacts. The historical significance of the 1967 nickel extends beyond metal and mechanics. It reflects a nation that was modernizing technologically, while also navigating political and economic challenges. The late 1960s were turbulent years in American history, marked by civil rights movements, space race developments, economic fluctuations, and cultural transformations. Coins of this period became silent witnesses to the daily lives of millions of Americans. The 1967 Jefferson nickel passed through hands at grocery stores, gas stations, barber shops, pharmacies, banks, and street vendors, becoming an everyday touchpoint connecting people to the national economy. As the decades passed, the 1967 Jefferson nickel remained in circulation for many years due to the durability of its composition. Many Americans born in the 1960s, 1970s, and 1980s would have handled this coin countless times without thinking about its unique background. Today, however, collectors view this coin with renewed appreciation because it represents a specific chapter in U.S. mint history marked by legislative changes, experimental production methods, and an urgent response to nationwide economic shifts. For this reason, the 1967 nickel stands as more than just a 5-cent coin. It is a symbol of adaptation, innovation, and the enduring continuity of American coinage design. To conclude the story of the Jefferson nickel 1967, in a 2-hour documentary-style narrative, one can highlight its identity as a coin produced during a time of scarcity, reform, and modernization. It maintains the classic artistic design of Thomas Jefferson and Monticello while simultaneously reflecting unique minting policies such as the removal of mint marks and the creation of special mint sets. Its high mintage ensured that it served the American public widely, while its special strike versions and occasional minting anomalies give collectors something to study and appreciate. The 1967 nickel therefore blends history, economics, artistry, and national identity into a single small piece of metal that continues to fascinate numismatists and enthusiasts around the world.